Have you ever noticed how quickly we can let someone else's actions dictate our mood? A rude remark, a frustrating colleague, or even a traffic jam can suddenly hijack our emotions. But what if I told you there's a way to never let that happen again? Not because you'll avoid every difficult person or stressful situation, that's impossible, but because you'll learn to see these moments differently. Let's start with a truth that's hard to accept. Anger is not caused by what someone does to you, it's caused by how you interpret and respond to it. People don't make us angry, we allow ourselves to react with anger. And that means we have the power to choose differently. The first step is understanding that most people aren't out to hurt you, they're just struggling with their own battles. That boss who snapped at you, maybe they're under immense pressure. The person who cut you off in traffic, perhaps they're rushing to something critical. When we see people as flawed humans rather than enemies, it's easier to replace anger with empathy. Second, let's talk about control. You can't control how people act, but you can control how you respond. And that's where your true power lies. When you focus on your response instead of their behavior, you take back the reins of your emotional state. And here's a little secret. Every challenge is a teacher. Every irritating encounter is an opportunity to grow. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what is this teaching me? Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in discomfort. But let's be honest, this is easier said than done. That's why I recommend building small habits, pausing before reacting, practicing mindfulness, and reflecting on what truly matters. These habits strengthen your emotional resilience over time. And remember, it's not about suppressing your feelings, it's about mastering them. When you live aligned with a sense of purpose, petty irritations fade into the background. You see, a fulfilled and purpose-driven person has no time for anger. They're too busy focusing on what truly matters. So, the next time someone frustrates you, take a breath. Look past their actions and see their humanity. Ask yourself if this moment is worth your peace. Because when you choose peace over reaction, you don't just avoid anger, you step into your power. Understanding the root cause of anger requires us to look beyond the surface of our emotions and the immediate triggers that set us off. It's rarely about the specific event or person, it's about something deeper. When we get angry, it often signals an underlying fear, insecurity, or unmet need that we may not even be fully aware of. For example, feeling disrespected in a conversation might not truly be about the words someone used, but rather about a deeper fear of not being valued or heard. Other people's behavior often reflects their inner struggles. When someone lashes out or behaves rudely, it's rarely about you. Their actions are shaped by their experiences, emotions, and state of mind. Yet, we often take such actions personally, interpreting them as deliberate attacks rather than seeing them as the result of their circumstances. By digging into the why behind anger, both within ourselves and in others, we can begin to untangle the complexity of emotions that fuel these moments. This exploration isn't about excusing bad behavior, but rather about cultivating a greater understanding of what's really happening beneath the surface. Choosing empathy over reaction involves shifting the way we perceive and respond to others' actions. It requires us to step back from our initial emotional response and consciously put ourselves in the other person's shoes. Empathy doesn't mean condoning bad behavior or agreeing with everything someone does. It means making an effort to understand what might be driving their actions. When someone behaves in a way that provokes or frustrates us, it's often a reflection of their internal struggles. They might be dealing with stress, insecurity, or pain that has nothing to do with us. Instead of reacting immediately, pausing to consider their perspective can transform how we engage with them. What might they be experiencing? What challenges could they be facing that we cannot see? This approach also softens the emotional charge of the moment. By focusing on understanding rather than defending or attacking, we create a space for compassion. It's not always easy, especially when emotions are high, but it's in that space where real connection and growth can happen. The act of choosing empathy allows us to break the cycle of reactive behavior, making us less likely to escalate conflict and more likely to find constructive ways to address the situation. Understanding the distinction between control and influence is essential for maintaining emotional balance. There are many things in life we cannot control, other people's thoughts, feelings, actions, or circumstances that arise unexpectedly. Attempting to control these aspects often leads to frustration, as it places us in a perpetual struggle against forces outside our power. What we do have control over, however, is ourselves, our thoughts, actions, and responses to the situations we face. This is where our focus and energy are best directed. Instead of trying to bend the world to our will, we can choose to influence it by setting an example, communicating effectively, and responding thoughtfully. Influence is subtle but powerful. It's about creating conditions that encourage change rather than forcing it. When we shift our mindset to focus on influence over control, we become more adaptable and resilient. We stop wasting energy on battles we cannot win and instead channel it into areas where we can make a meaningful impact. This distinction not only reduces feelings of helplessness or anger, but also empowers us to navigate challenges with clarity and purpose. Reframing a trigger means altering the way we perceive and interpret situations that provoke negative emotions. When something triggers us, our initial reaction often comes from a place of habit or past experiences. These responses can feel automatic, but they're not inevitable. By consciously examining the situation, we can shift our perspective and find new ways to understand and respond to it. Every trigger is an opportunity to ask questions. What is it about this moment that's causing such a strong reaction in me? Is this situation as significant as it feels right now? How can I interpret it in a way that empowers me rather than diminishes my peace? These questions open the door to reframing, allowing us to see the event not as an obstacle, but as a chance to grow, learn, or practice patience. And reframing doesn't mean ignoring the problem or pretending it doesn't exist. Instead, it involves challenging the assumptions or narratives we attach to it. For example, instead of seeing someone's criticism as an attack, we might view it as an opportunity to gain insight or improve. Instead of interpreting a delay as a frustration, we could view it as a moment to slow down and reflect. By changing the way we frame a trigger, we take control of how it affects us, transforming potential stress into a moment of growth. Pausing and reflecting is the practice of creating a moment of space between an event and your reaction to it. When something happens that triggers a strong emotional response, our natural inclination is often to react impulsively, letting emotions dictate our words or actions. However, this immediate response can often lead to regret or escalate the situation unnecessarily. Taking a pause allows you to step out of the emotional rush and consider the situation from a calmer, more objective perspective. This doesn't have to be a lengthy process. Sometimes a few deep breaths or counting to 10 is enough to break the cycle of reaction. In that pause, you gain the clarity to assess whether your immediate feelings align with the bigger picture of your values and intentions. Reflection during this pause involves asking yourself meaningful questions. What am I really feeling right now and why? What outcome do I want from this interaction? Is my current response going to help achieve that outcome, or am I acting out of frustration or defensiveness? This process helps you choose a response that's intentional rather than reflexive, giving you greater control over the direction of the situation. In practicing this habit, the pause becomes a tool for maintaining emotional balance, helping you navigate challenges with more thoughtfulness and composure. Detaching from ego is about separating your sense of self-worth from external events, opinions, or outcomes. The ego thrives on validation and control, often convincing us that every slight disagreement or failure is a personal attack or a threat to our identity. This attachment to how others perceive us or how situations unfold can create unnecessary tension and make us overly reactive. When someone criticizes us, for example, it's easy to feel defensive because the ego interprets it as a challenge to our value. But criticism, whether constructive or not, is just someone's perspective. It doesn't define us. Detaching from ego allows us to step back and see such situations for what they truly are: opportunities to learn, grow, or simply let go. When things don't go as planned, the ego might push us to resist or fight against the reality of the moment, framing it as failure. By detaching, we can accept the situation without judgment and focus on what can be done instead of dwelling on what went wrong. This detachment fosters resilience, helping us navigate life with greater ease and clarity. Letting go of ego doesn't mean dismissing your own needs or opinions. It means approaching situations with humility and self-awareness, recognizing that your worth isn't tied to outcomes or others' perceptions. This perspective frees you from unnecessary emotional entanglements, allowing you to respond with greater wisdom and grace. Setting healthy boundaries is about defining and maintaining limits that protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Boundaries clarify where your responsibilities end and where someone else's begin, creating a sense of balance in relationships and interactions. They are not walls to shut people out, but rather guidelines that foster mutual respect and understanding. Establishing boundaries involves understanding your own needs and values. It requires you to recognize what feels acceptable to you and what doesn't, whether it's how you're spoken to, how your time is used, or how much energy you're willing to invest in certain situations. By clearly communicating these boundaries, you help others understand how to engage with you respectfully and appropriately. Enforcing boundaries can feel challenging, especially if you're used to prioritizing others' needs over your own or avoiding conflict. However, consistently upholding them is essential for maintaining your peace and preventing resentment from building. This isn't about being rigid or inflexible, it's about protecting your ability to show up as your best self. Healthy boundaries also create space for others to take responsibility for their own emotions and actions. When you honor your limits, you set an example that encourages others to do the same, fostering healthier and more balanced relationships overall. Practicing gratitude involves consciously shifting your focus to the positive aspects of life, even in the face of challenges or adversity. It's about recognizing and appreciating what you have rather than dwelling on what you lack. This simple yet powerful practice has a profound effect on your mindset, helping to reframe situations that might otherwise feel overwhelming or negative. Gratitude helps to anchor you in the present moment, drawing attention to the small, often overlooked details that bring joy or comfort. It might be the warmth of the sun on your face, the kindness of a stranger, or the support of a loved one. By cultivating an awareness of these moments, you train your mind to notice and value the good that surrounds you, even on difficult days. This practice doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it provides a balanced perspective, allowing you to approach challenges with a sense of appreciation for the resources, relationships, and strengths that can help you navigate them. Gratitude creates a buffer against frustration and anger, helping to soften emotional reactions and foster a sense of calm. Over time, making gratitude a regular part of your life builds resilience and shifts your overall outlook, making it easier to find peace and contentment regardless of external circumstances. Developing a resilient mindset is about training yourself to adapt to challenges with flexibility and strength. Life will inevitably throw difficulties your way, whether personal struggles, professional setbacks, or unexpected obstacles. But how you respond to these events determines the degree to which they affect your emotional and mental well-being. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about learning how to recover from it, and often to emerge stronger. A resilient mindset begins with the recognition that setbacks and challenges are part of life's natural rhythm. Instead of viewing them as failures or personal shortcomings, resilient individuals see these moments as opportunities for growth and learning. It's about shifting your focus from the problem itself to the solutions or lessons that can be gleaned from the experience. This mindset requires an openness to uncertainty and change. It's about becoming comfortable with discomfort, understanding that emotional discomfort, while unpleasant, is temporary. You begin to see that you can handle difficult situations, even if they don't go as planned. It's this belief in your own ability to overcome challenges that builds resilience. Resilience also involves nurturing emotional self-regulation. When faced with adversity, it's easy to be swept away by intense emotions such as frustration, fear, or anger. However, resilient individuals develop practices that help them pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This might include mindfulness, meditation, or simply taking a few moments to breathe before responding. Another key element of resilience is maintaining a strong sense of purpose. When you have a clear vision or a deeper why behind your actions, setbacks are less likely to derail you. Purpose provides direction even when things seem chaotic, and can serve as a grounding force in times of uncertainty. By nurturing a resilient mindset, you become more adaptable, more equipped to handle life's uncertainties, and ultimately more capable of staying grounded and centered despite the challenges that come your way. Leading with purpose means aligning your actions, decisions, and responses with a deeper sense of meaning and intention. When you are guided by a clear purpose, every action you take becomes an expression of that greater vision, and challenges that might otherwise seem overwhelming can be viewed as steps towards something more significant. Purpose provides a roadmap, helping you navigate the complexities of life with direction and focus. When you lead with purpose, you become less susceptible to distractions and petty irritations. External factors that might typically provoke frustration or anger lose their power over you. You are anchored in the understanding that your energy is valuable and should be directed toward things that align with your long-term goals. A big thing we all agree on is this mindset allows you to respond thoughtfully to challenges, seeing them as opportunities to reinforce your commitment to what matters most, rather than as obstacles that throw you off course. Purpose also provides clarity in moments of uncertainty. When faced with difficult decisions or unclear situations, your purpose can serve as a guiding principle that helps you stay grounded. It gives you the confidence to trust your instincts and act with conviction, knowing that your choices are aligned with your broader mission. This clarity helps reduce indecision and self-doubt, which often lead to stress or frustration. When you lead with purpose, you inspire others. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are clear about their intentions and who operate with a sense of conviction. Your purpose becomes a source of motivation and strength, not only for yourself, but also for those around you. It fosters a sense of community and shared vision, where the focus shifts from individual concerns to collective growth and impact. Leading with purpose helps you remain centered amid the chaos of daily life. It encourages you to rise above temporary setbacks and keeps you moving forward with resolve. By continuously reminding yourself of your purpose, you maintain a steady course, immune to the fleeting frustrations and distractions that might otherwise derail you. In conclusion, the ability to never get angry or bothered by anyone isn't about avoiding conflict or suppressing emotions. It's about transforming how we engage with the world around us. By understanding the root causes of our reactions, choosing empathy over automatic responses, focusing on what we can influence instead of trying to control, and reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, we empower ourselves to navigate life with more calm and clarity. Detaching from ego allows us to free ourselves from the need for constant validation, while setting healthy boundaries ensures that we preserve our emotional well-being and relationships. Practicing gratitude shifts our perspective, helping us to focus on the positive in every situation. And by developing a resilient mindset and leading with purpose, we create a foundation that strengthens our ability to handle adversity with grace and conviction. The key to mastering our emotions and interactions is rooted in self-awareness, compassion, and the belief that we have the power to choose our response in every moment. It's not about controlling others, but about taking control of ourselves, fostering peace within, and creating the space for others to do the same.